Are you thinking of building your own brand? Well, if you are, then you're at the right place. Today, I want to talk about how you can create your own personal brand online. Before that, welcome back to my channel here today. So you want to build your own brand, but what does building a brand actually means? So personal branding is a process of creating an identity, whether it is for your personal reasons, for your business, and usually it involves developing a well-defined and consistent message and look to your brand and your brand only. So you might ask, why do I need to build my own brand? What is the importance of it? There are three main reasons that I think are the main reasons of creating your own brand. First is creating online presence and recognitions, whether it is to increase your visibility, increase engagement to your profile, or increase an audience base for you. Second is it serves as a way to promote yourself, whether it is as a candidate or promoting yourself as a founder, as an entrepreneur. And third is building a professional network, aka career advancement, which is something that I'm also trying to do, which is advancing my career through content creation on the side and also having a full-time job as obviously full-time and having content creation as a side hustle. And then next I want to get into how you can start creating essentially. So first step I like to do, or I did, is getting inspired. I like to get inspired by my favorite content creator, whether they're in the same industry, in the same realm of content creation that you're trying to make. You can always imitate the way that they edit their videos or the way that they talk in their videos. My top three person that I usually like to get inspired from are, first is Chloe Shin. She is a product manager at Discord. And then there's Mayuko, which was a software engineer. Now she has her own business called Hanko Academy. And third and last but not least, there's Stephanie Sue. I absolutely love Stephanie Sue's content. Even though I don't make the same content as hers, I like how she talks. I like how she engaged with the audience. I was never bored. Then next up, you want to think about why. Think about why you want to start content creation. Is it that you're trying to make resources more accessible, or is it that you're trying to start small and then eventually become a full-time content creator? So for me, I personally am not creating content just for the sake of creating content, because creating content is a lot of work and I don't think I want it to be my full-time job. The reason why I'm actually creating my content is I want to share my experience with other people who are also struggling the same, to let them know that you're not alone. I always like to hone in my identity as an international student who are navigating throughout the work industry, the college life here in the US, and sharing my struggle as an international student trying to find work. Even though for me it's a little different, I know that there are a lot of people who are still struggling. And then you want to find your niche. What do you mean by niche, Macy? So what that means is you want to find an area that you're very passionate and you can create content in. For example, the area could be a career, first generations, entrepreneurs, beauty content, true crime content, just story time in general. And then once you find your own niche, you want to stick with it. You can start with one, but for me, I like to start with a few because I already know what kind of content I want to create. So I started with, I make a lot of content about college when I was still a college student. Now that I'm out of college, I like to create content about career advancement, resume, anything career related. And sometimes I also have vlogs. I also have travel content that I like to put out there. And then next, you want to think about choosing your own platform. What platform do you want to be presenting onto? Is it you want to be on Instagram, or do you want to be on LinkedIn for career advancement? Or do you just want to be, a fun short video on TikTok? So those are some of the platforms that you can think about. And then with that in mind, you also want to think about who are your target audience. Are you trying to targeting high schoolers? Are you trying to target college students, people who are trying to break into the same industry that you are? Are you trying to appeal to working professionals? And then once you've identified your audience, your purpose, your goal, the things that you want to create, your content, then by all means you can start creating, because why wait? For me to keep myself accountable for content creation, I actually have like a spreadsheet to show me what kind of content I want to create, have all the titles, have the status, have like notes, have the dates of postings. There are a few tools that you can also use to keep yourself accountable. So for example, for scheduling, you can use Google Sheets, Airtable, and Trello. Trello is a very good like Kanban board. I don't think it's necessarily good for like if you want to see a calendar view, it's not good for that. But if you just want to track like your content creation stuff, then Trello is a good Kanban board to use. But there's also graphics that you need to think about. So I have a premium account for Canva. So I use this Canva to create my graphics, my thumbnails. But some people also like to use the Adobe side of things, which is the Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. And last but not least, you want to think about, the most important one is how are you going to edit your videos, or how are you going to edit if you're creating short form video content. For me, I have a lifetime account with Wondershare Filmora, so I use this Filmora to do it. But there's also the Adobe version, which is the Adobe Premiere Pro, and also the Mac version, which is the Mac Final Cut Pro. I've heard that the Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro are rather harder to get harder to use them, and so I decided to go with Filmora because I've heard a lot of content creator who talked about Filmora and they like using Filmora, and so that's why I got the Filmora lifetime account. And last but not least, I want to share some final tips on content creation. One is definitely be consistent on your message, on your looks of your content. Second is it's very easy to get burnt out like everything else. Like you get burnt out in college, you get burnt out through work. And the same thing goes with content creation. If you're starting up just by yourself, you're basically doing everything that other people has a team to do it by yourself. Any type of video editing, any type of audio adjusting, doing any research, video editing, I said video editing already, but any types of that, you're doing it by yourself. And trust me when I say that it is a lot of work, because you're sitting down filming maybe like a 15 minutes video, and then you're cutting it down bit by bit, and then you're also finding graphics to go along with it, so your video is not just you talking. With that, you also have the editing time. You have to adjust your video, and then you have to export it, post it, schedule it, whatever you want to do. So if you feel like you're gonna get burnt out while you're creating content, I would just take a break and come back in a few weeks or two. Let your audience know that, oh, I'm coming back because personal reasons or whatever reasons that you want to talk about. Or maybe just not talk about it. Just say that this is your normal posting schedule. And last but not least, the final tip, which is also the most important one, is just remember to have fun, because content creation shouldn't be a stress for you. It should be something that you're interested, something that you're passionate about. If you're not having fun creating content, maybe content creation is not the path for you to take. So just remember to have fun. Content creation is supposed to be fun for you if you're into it. But other than that, I think those are all the things I want to talk about today. So thank you for tuning in for today's video. If you enjoy my content and want to stay tuned for more, remember to subscribe and click the bell button and the like button so you can support my channel in that way. Other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. That is a wrap, and I'll see you guys next time I post. Bye!